But before then, let's talk totals. Taking a look at the AFC East and those win numbers. Buffalo sporting the largest number league-wide at 11.5, sharing that number with one other. They are the favorites, as you see, in the divisional odds, and heavy favorites at that. The Fins actually backing off a hook from their number a year ago, a 9-win season, followed by the same question, can you do it again? The Pats looking at that same number, and the Jets at 5.5, expected to take a step forward, but not a massive one. All right, let's sink our teeth into the numbers with NFL analyst Jason La Canfora. JLC, great to have you. Let's start with the Super Bowl favorites and the MVP favorite at that. Following 20 years of futility, the Bills, they've now strung together back-to-back divisional titles. Favorites to do so once again. 11.5 is the biggest number on the board, juiced to the over with good reason. Unfinished business likely to be the mantra. Do you see 12 wins on that schedule?
I do. I think I would agree with Vegas. It's the best constructed roster in the NFL right now. I don't think there's glaring weaknesses. I like what they did this offseason. I like how committed ownership is. Don't talk salary cap with me, money. You're trying to win a Super Bowl these days, your payroll better be approaching $300 million. Theirs is. It's loaded with talent. I hate to be super chalky here, but I have to lean into what that roster, what that coaching staff and what they've done by retaining Leslie Frazier. I know they lost Brian Dable, but the infrastructure they've built there, how symbiotic the coaching staff and the GM is. There's going to be rocky times, but these guys are equipped, McDermott and Bean, to get over the hump. They couldn't have any more motivation or fuel in their fire after the way these last couple of seasons have ended. They're going to win the division. They're going to win 12 games or more.
It's the team with the least question marks from where I'm sitting at 11.5. Looks like a bargain. We'll see what they can do behind that arm and the legs of Josh Allen. Elsewhere, it's swim or get out of the tank time for the big fish under center in Miami. Interesting case here. Roster conceivably better than a season ago. Offensive mind known for maximizing talent now at the helm, but the projected total a half point lower than last year's 9-win mark. What do you make of this number, JLC?
I see a lot of value going over here. This is, for me, the second best team in this division. And I also like taking a little bit of extra pocket cash and putting it on Miami to make the playoffs at plus 135. The defense was nothing short of dominant the last 10, 11 weeks of last season. And while they've changed the head coach, he's smart enough to know that's not my bag, that's not my thing. He's keeping that Brian Flores defense intact, and he's turned the offense into a track meet. And I don't think a lot of defenses in that division outside of Buffalo are going to have the overall speed and acumen to keep up with this Dolphins thing. I don't want to talk about bombs. I don't want to talk about air yards. I want to talk about yak. That is a track team that can produce immense yak at the running back position, at the tight end position, and at the wide receiver position, both outside and slot. All Tua has to do is be accurate from 5 to 12, 15 yards downfield, and then let the cheetah and the guys take over after that. And I believe they will. I'm not going to tell you this team's a juggernaut, but I certainly feel like in a 17-game season in that division with, we're going to talk about the Patriots in a minute, I'm not a big fan of them. And you said it, Joe. The Jets are better, but are they truly a contender? I think Miami could take care of business and win 9-10 games easy.
I'm just looking forward to 4 months of Mike McDaniel at the podium. Should be entertaining in its own right. Let's talk, yes. Pats. The post-Tom identity, still a bit murky, blown out in the wild card round last year. The OC leaves for Vegas. Big names exiting in free agency, as we heard. The Patriot way is going to be tested once again here. Win total coming in at 8.5. What are your expectations in Foxborough?
I think Foxborough is going to experience a season the likes of which they haven't in a long, long time, probably not this century. I'm not buying what they're selling. It looks to me like Bill Belichick is taking a page out of the failed playbook of some of his former assistants like Joe Judge, like Brian Flores, who get a little too cute about the staffing, get a little too cute about the titles, get a little too cute about everything, and then the defection. They bring back the Joe Judges of the world. Josh McDaniels was the single biggest factor in what Mac Jones did last year. You talk to anybody in that organization who will speak with you candidly, he was the guy building this kid up. Now you're telling me you're not even going to really be upfront about who's coaching him, who's telling him what, who's calling the plays. It's much ado about nothing because they don't have talent on offense. And when I evaluate football teams, I start at the trenches. I'm not buying them on the offensive line. I'm not buying them on the defensive line. I'm not buying blue chip players. I'm not buying blue chip players at impact positions. The pass rush completely fell apart last year when Matt Judon kind of hit the wall around week 12, and they did nothing to improve it. And you said, the direction. Had they doubled down and had another offseason where they spent big, I might buy it. But they didn't. Last year's additions didn't make, by and large, the impact they thought they would. Bill Belichick, the GM, has done Bill Belichick, the head coach, no favors for a while. I'm not buying the Patriots. I'm certainly not buying them to win 9 games.
Yeah, we're taking that under the 8.5 all day long. And that first month of the season, as you saw on the schedule, no welcome handshake for them. It'll be baptism by fire. And let's talk about the team at the bottom of the division that maybe could make a little bit of noise and move in the right direction once again. The Jets, year 2 of Zach Wilson, who gained some public favor, let's call it, over the last few weeks via the tabloids. Robert Saleh also coming into his sophomore campaign with some experience on his side. Really nice job that is at the draft this last April by the front office. They're going to try and put this 11-year playoff drought to bed, JLC, but 6 isn't going to get you to the playoffs. It will get us to the window. Do you see that many?
I convinced myself that I do. I'll be honest, I feel less passionately about this total than the other 3 because I don't know what their offensive line looks like. They looked at Mekhi Becton as a foundational piece to be one of the 4 or 5 most important figures in this turnaround. They don't know when he's going to be in football shape. They don't know when he's really going to play football again. It doesn't look like he's a left tackle anymore. Is he even the answer at right tackle? And I'm a bit of a Wilson skeptic as well. But they have added some talent there. And I think the defense is going to lead them. And I think the defense will be able to keep them in enough close, low-scoring games that they do double their win total from last year, which would be enough to get them over this line. I'm not as bullish on them as some people who would tell you this team could flirt with 500. I don't think their ceiling's that high. I think their ceiling is right around this total. But this will be a referendum on Robert Saleh as a head coach because if that defense doesn't make the kind of gains that the roster would imply it would, and if he can't get immediate impact from some of these young pieces, then I think Woody Johnson's probably going to step in sometime around the holidays and start flying people, either flying people to him or flying to people to figure out what he's got to do to get over the hump. But yes, I begrudgingly go over here.
I'm there with you as well. Some material, non-public information. I did run into Zach Wilson at the Yankee game a couple nights ago, and kid knows how to be a quarterback out in public. Let's just say that. He was playing the role quite well at Yankee Stadium. We'll see what this season looks like for the Jets. You said it earlier, but let's put it on tape, make it official. Pick to win the division here. Why is it the Buffalo Bills this season?
Look, I think the Buffalo Bills have the greatest overall package of any team in this division. When you talk about commitment from ownership, from a payroll standpoint, when you talk about the ability of the coaching staff and the GM to do their jobs well and to do their jobs well when they have to toggle between each other, when they have to make decisions on the fly. You look at how aggressive they've been at trade deadlines. You look at all the different ways they've gone about acquiring talent. They've done a hell of a job. It is a roster loaded with blue chip players. They know who they are. They have an identity on both sides of the ball. And I think them not losing Leslie Frazier as a head coach somewhere else, which frankly boggles my mind, but whatever, he can take so much off of Sean McDermott's defensive plate that he can keep that be that CEO, leader of men, day in and day out. And yeah, I'd love to have seen them keep Brian Daboll as well. But that offense is in pretty good hands with Josh Allen, and they know what they have there. So I think it's clearly the best team in this division. I think they do win 12 games or more. They clear that 11.5 hurdle with some relative ease. But their season is going to be judged by what they do in January and February. That is obviously to be determined.
He is locked in and cashing out. JLC, we'll talk to you soon.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.